The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome, everyone, to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. As we start off the day, what's the most important thing? That we're here at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on today? Well, we're up 34 points on the S&P cash. Yesterday, there were people talking about potentially shorting this, and I said they were not. A lot of people were short going into Wednesday. They were not going to let them out easily, and I have a feeling that the more everybody shorted, the more that they had to cover going into this weekend. Monday, Tuesday, going to be options rollover days. Generally, you don't get a lot of movement. So Wednesday's probably, or at least historically, is one of those days where we might start seeing the market move one way or the other. We're at the very high end of a trading range. The volume has not been there. In fact, I was hoping for 12 or 13 billion shares yesterday to signal that we are out of that trading range. We had about 9.4 billion shares. So is it good? Yeah. Is it like 7.5 billion? No. But it doesn't probably suggest there's a whole lot more here other than a big short squeeze for a lot of people that are on the wrong side of the market. On a backdrop, of course, we're going to have a pretty horrible Christmas season, selling season. Even if they start getting the trailers going, I could easily see being down 20% in sales over the Christmas season over last year even. That was interesting. But again, what are we going to do? Anyway, expiration today. I started running options scans at about 10:30 and 11. And all I saw was just a little bit more. And I'm trying to remember what it was. Maybe it was on Monday. I'll have to find it. That we were pointing out some of these options positions and why I wasn't bearish into this week. Thought that it would happen probably on Thursday. I thought it would happen after earnings. It started at midnight on that. Let's see. Is that on? Hang on a second here. See if I find. There was that. Okay, that's the 13th. So it's got to be on the 12th. But I had it in the newsletter here. Yeah. See if I can get it here. But we had a bunch of stocks blow out to the upside. Oh, that's Microsoft. Wasn't going to get down to Apple here. Where I was looking at Apple, and Apple's actually kind of on the low end of what I was looking at. It got hit by those rumors Monday and Tuesday. But still eventually decided to come back into this trading range, 144.51. And that was, we were talking about the, when you're looking at options curves and how much money could be made, if it expired at that. We're going to come in at dollars denominated. Apple's going to close at 145, but that's going to be at the very low end of that range. But they kind of got dinged a little early. AMD was able to come out with a new product that no one knew about even happening and be able to ship some of them. And that blew out a lot of those folks. So I was a little low on that prediction from options. But again, these only put in what option market makers know. And if they don't know it, that isn't it. But we'll see how close that Apple can come to 45 here at the close. My guess is it's within 20 cents, plus or minus, of the day. Again, nowhere close to the highs on this. So, when we look at where we could be earlier in the week, it seemed almost ludicrous on Tuesday to talk about an S&P close above 4,400. I thought, generally it was fairly taught in about 4,400 to 4,425. 1 in 10 times options predictions for this high side would be over 44.25. So we are at the very 1 in 10 times of being on the high side of options predictions, which is rare, but 1 in 10 times is not. If you wouldn't get on a plane if you knew that it was 1 in 10 times it'd crash. So it's not nothing, but it's not all the time. It's once in a year. We kind of got the opposite side of that last month with everybody trying to blow out the lows. But we'll keep moving on. 877-927-6648. What else do we have? Path at TFNN.com, and of course, always in the den. And who could have ever thought or imagined this much upside from Wednesday? But kind of a perfect storm of a lot of different stuff happening. I'm just suspecting that a lot of stuff that's baked in today is not going to work out as well as a lot of people think. So I'm kind of wondering if we're not just at the very top end of this trading range and going to see it. Is it? Did we just pop, or is that just wrong? Oh, there it is. Because I had a tick that said plus 25 on the S&P, but I just had said plus 35. So it must have been just a bad tick out there. Anyway, this is extremely tough. Now, as we start off the day for volume here, about 6 billion shares. Again, in this time frame, probably talking about 9.5 billion shares. But I think what we can say is by the time it gets to the close, that we won't have hardly any, if any, short positions in this market. That always makes me think that there's always a fairly good opportunity to see the opposite side of the market come out when there aren't any shorts left. But we'll have to see. Again, I don't think it's going to happen Monday and Tuesday, but I do think that maybe we could see some of those earnings that are going to miss come next week. In fact, we've been talking about earnings this week. Goldman Sachs, okay. When we get to Monday, though, I think it's after the bell, is it? Steel Dynamics, not much. I think it's Tuesday then. Let's take a look here. Yeah, J&J in the morning of the Tuesday. Ericsson, Halliburton, Procter & Gamble, Philip Morris, Bank of New York Mellons. I guess there's a reason to bank them. KSU, which is Kansas City Southern Railroad. Travelers Company, Manpower, Iridium Communications. After the bell on Tuesday night, Netflix. And when we get back, after we do the history, we'll talk about Netflix. They're kind of in a little bit of a quandary, a conundrum, as we return.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we return, always just a little history repeating.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Yeah, Shirley Bassey and the Propellerheads. That whole song is rocking. Thomas Edison and a group of investors formed the Edison Electric Light Company. The goal of the company was to provide financial support for Edison's electric light experiments and work on developing an electric lighting system for an entire city, i.e. New York. And, of course, he had some wacky ideas. Tesla helped him design a generator for DC current. And, of course, AC won out. When they finally figured out that all the copper in the world that's ever been mined would take just to wire up New York City if they used DC. Of course, Edison did have some good ideas. Did come up with kind of the first idea to use carbon for a element, and then eventually with this company started working on a tungsten thread for a light bulb, and came up with a pretty good one. But it's unclear. He was fairly adept at stealing other people's ideas and calling them his, and making sure that no one else got credit for it at his company. He made I could say it's kind of a cult, kind of Apple-ish back then, except he didn't have quite the Pavarotti hanging around taking pictures and all that stuff. But you still had articles, that kind of stuff that happened. Of course, Steve Jobs was fairly famous, and it was on the back of a movie called Star Wars. The director and producer and writer of Star Wars, Lucas, wanted to get a universal story. So after he had a big hit with, what was that name of that movie? It was all about dragsters and drive-ins and the racing cars up the strip. I'll think of it in a minute. But he went out and sent people to investigate stories around the world that were universal. And, of course, he came up with a story that a young boy gets orphaned, has to travel into foreign countries and fight an unbeatable battle against a much larger force and eventually wins. That became Star Wars. Enamored with that, Steve Jobs decided he wanted to do the same thing, kind of a little different, and sent people out there to figure out how the best way to push out propaganda. That came to be a lot of Guy Kawasaki's work at Apple later. But Thomas Edison probably kind of in about the third or fourth grade of that kind of stuff that Steve Jobs was into. But he still did it. He knew how to manipulate the press a great deal, had a lot of money, and knew a lot of the same folks. And as it went at that time, including with Henry Ford, they all hated a certain ethnicity. That one, yes, and others too. Some of the biggest racists of all times, it seemed like. But did put a lot of people to work, including the people that they hated, which was always interesting. I always thought it was more interesting that Hitler's best friend was that helped him sell paintings was Jewish. But you never know. Strange bedfellows and all that. On this day in 1987, American Graffiti. Yeah, that was I was thinking of. I just couldn't think of it at the moment. But big hit for Lucas and all those guys that were all hanging out in the UCLA Film School from about 1966 to 1970. They all came out. A lot of directors, writers were big deals. Okay, let's move on. And we're going to talk about some stocks today that have one thing in common. And I want to see kind of how they are. Let's see here. Where are they at? They're in scans. Where's my scans? Oh, looking at it all the time. Trying to remember which one was the big one. But early in the week, saw a lot of signals saying that maybe the weed stocks had bottomed. Not a lot of action so far today. They were up a bit yesterday. Other highly shorted stocks, which I kind of weirded out about. Why I'm not exactly sure why Aflac gets all the hate, but certainly they do. Maybe it's duck season at Aflac. Up a little bit today, about half the volume as yesterday, though. And this is going to be kind of a theme that we're looking at. A lot of these stocks that are highly short, I'm not seeing the big squeeze in. Deutsche Bank did gap up. It's one of the top shorted stocks. This thing's just been in a channel for forever. Does have a little bit more volume than the last big high when we go back here to September 17th. Other stocks, Dropbox, it did break out. Did have some decent volume of about $28, got the 33, came back into the trading range for just a little underneath that, and has come back out. I just don't see this thing ever being a huge winner, though. Let's see out here. This one I played for a little while, not in the newsletters. It just bored me to tears, though. Genius Brands, GNUS, one of the biggest, most heavily shorted stocks. I'll keep an eye on this. If I'm wrong about us turning down lower on Wednesday, this may be one of the ones I'm more interested in. GoGo, not much happening on that one. GlaxoSmithKline. Let's talk about MNRA. It got, did I do it? RNA, he said. Had some news come out midday, about 12:30. The Utes are being reconsidered. Those are the Utes for those folks in Lutz, Florida. Anyway, it was doing fairly good earlier in the day. Bit of a reversal on the FDA saying that Utes, those are people that are young, would be reconsidered, and they wouldn't be discussing it today and or talking about putting out their recommendation on whether or not you can give vaccines to the vaccine to younger kids. Not exactly sure why they did it. Didn't have time to get back in it, but fairly big reversal day on the top up here on mRNA, and I'll remember that now. Hormel, the perpetually shorted stock, has bounced. This thing can make it back up to 45. If anybody has any idea on why everybody's shorting the daylights out of this, let me know. Has something drastically changed about spam? I don't think so. Be back in a minute.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we come back, comment in the den, just as always, the bond vigilantes will eventually get their way. And we saw that this week. A little gap down. It depends on what's going on, but keep a close eye on that. I think we had a big turnaround here with a handful of things. More spending from the Fed, government finally realizing that they weren't going to have trillions and trillions of dollars to throw around. Some other stuff happened on this week, but again, I think that's kind of a short-term sugar high unless we get some of these other problems like high gas prices and supply chain stuff going, because it's just going to continue to get worse, not get better. It's like the first guy that stops in traffic at rush hour causes a 45-minute backup, and then even if nothing happens, the traffic's going to be backed up for 45 days. And that will take us through Christmas. Question about something else here. How will next week's introduction of the Ponzi coin ETF affect the gold market? I don't know. I think that a lot of the young kids that would probably go into buying gold, and maybe the younger set probably into it. You know what's really going to make those things howl and run? Not the ETF or not the Bitcoin. The gold is going to be when that crashes, and that's when you want to be in gold. Actually, I ran a bunch of scans. Just happened to be talking to Steve Rhodes this morning, but just about everything in gold was from him was hitting a TD9, and I was finding all kinds of sell indicators on gold last night. Not really surprised that it pulled back a bit. But that's it. Okay. No. Okay. How will next week's introduction? No. Okay. Again, everybody, they knew 2 years ahead of time that Enron was a fraud. These things, a lot of times, just take in as much money as they can before everybody figures it out. And eventually there's that last guy that buys it at the high, and it does nothing but go down, and he loses it all. But you know what? It hadn't happened yet. And everybody will tell me, oh, it's different this time. And no, it won't be. The tulip mania lasted 6 years. And that was before they were able to reinforce all those kind of wacky ideas with people all trying to convince themselves on Twitter of what geniuses they are. But maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. Just don't have any way to actually be wrong and short it as far as I can tell. Gold 1768.50, silver down 20 cents, or 12 cents, excuse me. Gold's down 29. 10 years at 1.572. That's up a nickel. So better than a lot of people thought. And that's kind of it. We did have the Nikkei up almost 2%. So it followed along with us yesterday. But let's take a quick look at some of these others. GDXJ. And just because you get a temporary sell signal doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It does you had a lot of people a little earlier probably thinking that the end was nigh for the gold miners. I do think that you're going to at least come back to this trend line. That means about $42. There's also a gap right there. But it's going to be hard. Everybody wants to get on board. Let's see. Let's take a quick look at GDX. Just the light volume today is probably the most encouraging thing to gold aficionados. A pullback today again on lighter volume out here in the GDX. You're back into this gap that actually had fairly decent volume on the, on the 13th. Was up on 36.5 million shares. You're down about 12. So again, not the end of the world, but I think that trading range is going to continue on for a little bit longer. Other questions going on. Micron. The future is so bright, you got to wear shades. The problem is that everybody continues to think that it's not going to be good, mostly because of supply chain issues. If someone else can't make their stuff and use Micron's memory, what is Micron to do? I think they've got a lot of nice stuff. The margins should be killer on DDR5 memory. We just need to see that corner on the supply chain and semis turn the corner. It has not as of yet. Questions about Best Buy. The other day you said you thought it would still be problematic. I think so. About half the profits based on selling iPhones and Samsung. That's Bed Bath & Below. Bed Bath. Okay, and what do you have? Best Buy really's just done a 50% retracement of the move down. You're into what is a fairly wide and chunky confluence areas. 116.22 is the high of that area. My guess is that this is probably in a range of 115 to 110 here for a little while until we find out more about whether or not they're going to get their stuff. Now, Best Buy, better than most. They're not like Walmart or Target, where everything has to come by a container. They can throw everything in a 747 and get enough for a week's supply of iPhones in one 747. God forbid the thing went down. But a 747 will do everything that Apple does. That's half Best Buy's earnings, that and Samsung. Both of those, not real big problems. So looks good. Question about QQQ and volume. Okay. You talked about coming up here yesterday into this gap down, 97 million shares, and we got 26 million shares today. Again, this is what I think is probably the strongest resistance we're going to have seen in a while in a market. Now, maybe get a couple of days next week and you start working on it. My guess, though, is that you're at least going to probably pull back to about 362.50-ish for this gap just a couple of days ago. And then maybe if things turn around, we start moving higher. But I think people are going to start getting more worried than anything else. On my short leaders list, another one of the big stocks, IBM. The saying is starting to wind up. Of course, they bet their future on quantum computing. No real product yet out of that. A lot of shorts, though. Could you see 151 on a squeeze? I think we'll be back in.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
And as we come back, Netflix taking some heat for its comedy special with Dave... I want to say Luttrell, but that's the fighter. Dave, anyway. Interesting that it's just kind of going sideways out here. Not a lot of action so far. Dave Chappelle. CEO doubling down, as he should, on vapid nitwits telling him what he can and can't put on his network. It'd be different if there was something really to it. But it's just a bunch of people trying to push people around and bully people. So guess what? He came out a second time and said, up yours. So, I'm actually thinking maybe he's starting to figure out some of the stuff that we all know. That is that these people are a little out there. So of course, they want him to take off anything that has anything to do with shooting people or doing anything else, plus all the other stuff that they're all concerned about. Many people saying they're going to quit, go away, they're not going to work with Netflix. I figure that lasts all of about 5 minutes when they start signing up other people to make movies. And, there's only a couple of places to go now. If you get turned down by Amazon and Netflix, you got Disney. And even then, if you're making a movie for Disney Channel, your options are pretty limited to what you can do. So not much going on in independent film anymore out in Hollywood. So I have a feeling that Netflix thinks it's kind of turned the corner here and has the upper hand going forward, which I think is good for their business long term. Yeah, no absolutes. Anyway, not much in the way of volume out here, though. You got 7 days out here. Now, the bigger thing that no one's talking about, I didn't see anybody talking about it today, is a vote for a strike on Monday for both Netflix and Disney. So we'll know Monday morning when we come back whether there's going to be kind of a drought out here on new production. But it would stop literally everything in Hollywood and most things everywhere else, even outside of it. Anybody that belongs to the union won't be able to work, whether it's in a union state or not. You got a little bit of a bounce out here in Disney. Remember when they voted, what was it, last week or the weekend before? 90% of the people in the Hollywood union there voted to authorize a strike. So it's not like just half of the folks or a little more than half. It's darn near every single person out here. And again, a little bit of Disney, Amazon, and Netflix all kind of thinking that they do have the upper hand. If you got a union, kind of a little bit different. and they've been kind of probably going out a little bit too far on some of the demands of their workers, and they're going to start that 24-hour work day. Some of the other things that have happened during the pandemic, they needed to get stuff done. And now they're kind of on the other side of the pandemic thinking, well, it's the same kind of emergency that existed a year ago doesn't exist today. So anyway, watch Disney, Netflix. I don't think Amazon really that sensitive. Of these companies, Amazon is the one that's diversified, right? They have more money coming in from their web services than really anything else. Secondarily, it's all the stuff that they sell. And third, it's really their video on demand and audio on demand services out here. So not much happening. But keep a close eye on those Monday morning. Okay. Did I do that? Come on. I guess I did something. I don't. Oh, that's what I did. That makes sense now. Okay. Other questions about that I'm getting here now about Spotify. They're in the news for the same kind of stuff. Come on, Mr. Spotify. This is one of the craziest things in the world, and I don't know if it's ever been cured. I haven't spent the time to go after it. Maybe when I have some extra time, I will. These guys had the craziest IPO in a long time. They only put out about 5% of the shares. So this is always going to be problematic. You never know when they're going to let that other 95% out. Still haven't turned a profit really on selling music. Their big draw right now, of course, is a podcast or podcasts. And I don't know if that really changes much of anything. They didn't have to quite go and pay the kind of money they did for Howard Stern for, what's the guy's name now? I'll think of it. But as far as Spotify on just a straight chart basis, but I don't think you can play it on that way because they do have so many shares outstanding. They can drop at any minute, and it is so limited. But you're back over a 1 million share high gap up from the 17th of September, 1.1 million shares into it today with less than 500,000 so far. Yesterday it was a little bit better with 858,000 shares, but not a particular blowout. You could see it back up to 263.59. I just don't see a lot of people actually playing this stock very much. But that's it. What else do we have? Got more emails here going on. Do I want to look at something else? I know I did. Oh, Ulta. James asks about Ulta Salon. Tell you what, sometimes the best thing you can do is just drive by these places. I drove by 2 different ones over the last week. There are lines out the door for this thing. Apparently, you can get all the stuff that you want for the ladies at these places, and they got it. I didn't see anybody coming out of the stores empty-handed. They all had very nice shopping bags full of stuff. But I went by 2 of them, and both of them had lots of cars around them and had lots of people going in and out. Now, I know that's a little bit anecdotal, but not looking bad. Now, on a chart basis, again, you had some fairly good energy off the bottom at 359.65. But you got up here, and again, all the volume, just a lot of times you get a big reversal candle like you did back here on August 26th. Or in this case, just not a whole lot of volume today at 414,000 shares compared to that 3 million share high before. We'll be back after this.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secured investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we get ready to wrap up the show for yet another week, volume very light. Wasn't great yesterday. 9.5 billion shares. Doing 6.6 billion shares now with hour and 6 minutes left. Maybe we get a bunch of volume at the end of the day, but I don't think so. Just think we're squeezing every last short out of this market that got all short below 4,000 on the S&P cash. Now they're all getting squeezed out. As I said yesterday, when people were trying to short, it's very tough when you get this big a move and this quick that anybody gets let out of the market quickly. They tend to if you've ever been on the wrong side of the market, it takes at least 3 days. If you're really going to stick it out, you almost have to leave town and then come back and hope that you didn't get wiped out if you're going to be on the side of that. But, you know, I always give big moves like this at least 3 days. Because it seems like it takes that long for everybody on the wrong side to finally give up. They tend to sell the stuff that they shouldn't and keep the stuff that they shouldn't. So it takes a few days for everybody to figure it out all over again. Again, when we get into next week, earnings on Tuesday start getting a little bit more going on. But Monday and Tuesday options roll over. Generally don't see a lot of action. Wednesday, By that time, I think we're going to have enough of those earnings in there that people are going to start seeing it. I also see some of those stocks in there might have some rather big misses and maybe have some forecasts that are a little underneath the weather. And of course, you probably don't want to miss, because all the shorts probably all ran and turned tail today. Probably not going to come back and get a little bit of the hair of the dog that bit them. So, if we do start moving down next week, look for the same kind of very fast action. If we go up, there's a lot of resistance right at this level. So when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here back Monday. Hang on for Tom.